Every woman wants to be loved, but the women who are truly unforgettable are the ones men deeply respect. And respect isn't about being the loudest in the room or the most accommodating in the relationship. It's about living by a set of unshakable principles that quietly tell the world, this is who I am, and this is how I deserve to be treated. Self-respect shapes every interaction you have, and in relationships, it's the unspoken force that determines how someone treats you. Men don't respect women just because they say they deserve respect. They respect women whose choices consistently reflect that belief. It's not about being aloof or acting superior. It's about carrying yourself with the quiet certainty that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and you won't trade them for less than they're worth. A woman with self-respect communicates this without speeches or ultimatums. It's evident in her boundaries, her tone, and her decisions. When you truly respect yourself, you automatically teach others how to treat you. If someone shows care and consideration, you respond with warmth. If they treat you carelessly, you don't retaliate with drama, you simply create distance. That consistency sends a message that's louder than any confrontation. You value yourself enough to only keep people close who show the same regard. Men pick up on this quickly, often faster than they admit, because it forces them to rise to the level of treatment you expect or quietly step back. This respect starts internally. If your self-talk is harsh and self-critical, you're more likely to accept behavior from others that echoes that voice. But when your inner dialogue is one of self-compassion and acceptance, you naturally draw a line at anything that undermines your worth. That doesn't mean you see yourself as flawless. It means you've decided your flaws don't make you undeserving of care, loyalty, or effort. Men respect this because it's a strength they can't create for you. It's already there, independent of them. Boundaries are one of the clearest expressions of self-respect. They aren't walls to keep people out. They're guidelines for how to connect with you. If someone cancels plans last minute without a valid reason, a woman with self-respect doesn't lash out, but she also doesn't rush to accommodate them again. That simple decision communicates that her time matters. Over time, this sets a tone in the relationship. She expects reliability and rewards it with her presence. Self-respect also determines the situations you're willing to stay in. You don't linger in relationships where your needs are consistently unmet, hoping things will magically improve. You're willing to walk away, not as a threat, but as a natural extension of valuing your own well-being. Men notice when you're not afraid to be without them, and it changes the way they see you. It tells them you're with them because you choose to be, not because you need to be, and that choice is where deep respect begins. Emotional control is one of the most powerful traits a woman can have in a relationship, and it's not about suppressing feelings or pretending nothing bothers you. It's about mastering the art of responding instead of reacting. When emotions are high, whether it's frustration, disappointment, or excitement, it's easy to let the moment dictate your words and actions, but men deeply respect women who can pause, take a breath, and choose their response with intention. That pause communicates maturity, confidence, and self-awareness, all of which makes someone more trustworthy and admirable. In a heated conversation, reacting instantly often leads to words you can't take back or actions you later regret. But when you keep your composure, you create space for clarity. You give yourself the ability to address the real issue instead of escalating it. A woman who can express her point without letting anger or insecurity take the driver's seat earns a man's respect because it shows she values understanding over winning. That kind of emotional stability signals that she can be relied on in moments of stress, and that's a rare quality people instinctively want to protect and keep close. Emotional control also prevents manipulation, both ways. It makes it harder for someone to push your buttons to get a reaction, and it stops you from using emotion as a weapon to get what you want. Instead, you can stand firmly in your truth without guilt-tripping, shouting, or withdrawing affection. This balance keeps the relationship healthy because communication becomes about solutions rather than scoring points. Men notice when you can disagree without tearing each other down, and it changes the way they see you, not just as a partner, but as someone they can build a life with. It's also worth noting that emotional control doesn't mean staying neutral all the time. You can be deeply passionate, express frustration, or even cry without losing respect, as long as you do it in a way that stays grounded. It's the difference between saying, "I'm hurt and I need to talk about it," versus lashing out with, "You always do this to me." One invites connection, the other creates distance. That difference is everything. When a woman consistently shows she can manage her emotions with grace, she sets the emotional tone of the relationship. Men naturally feel more at ease around her, more open to sharing, and more willing to invest effort because they know they're in the presence of someone who can handle the highs and lows without losing herself in the process. Having a life outside the relationship is one of the strongest ways a woman earns deep respect from a man. It means that while the relationship is important, it's not the sole center of your existence. Your passions, hobbies, friendships, career goals, and personal growth all remain alive and active, no matter who you're dating. This isn't about being distant or unavailable. It's about maintaining your individuality so that your sense of purpose doesn't depend entirely on the relationship. When a man sees that you have a world beyond him, he recognizes that your time and attention are valuable, and he treats them as such. A woman who has her own life radiates a unique energy. She has stories to share, things to look forward to, and a rhythm that doesn't stop when her partner isn't around. That independence creates an attractive balance because it shows you're with him out of choice, not necessity. Men notice the difference between someone who enjoys their company and someone who needs it to feel whole. The first is magnetic. The second can feel heavy over time. When you keep your own pursuits alive, you remain interesting and dynamic, which keeps the relationship fresh. Having a life outside the relationship also prevents unhealthy attachment patterns. If your happiness hinges entirely on how much attention or reassurance you get from him, it's easy to fall into insecurity or pressure the relationship to move faster than it's ready for. But when you have your own fulfilling routines and ambitions, you bring stability to the connection. You're not asking him to be your entire source of joy. You're inviting him to be part of an already rich life. That removes unnecessary strain and allows the relationship to grow more naturally. Men also respect the boundaries that naturally form when you have a full life. You can't be at his constant beck and call because you have commitments, plans, and goals that matter to you. This doesn't push him away. In fact, it often draws him closer. It creates a sense of healthy space which fuels attraction and respect. He knows that your presence is something he earns and cherishes, not something he can take for granted. Over time, this independence sets the tone for a relationship built on mutual appreciation rather than dependency. You both bring your own value to the table, and instead of merging into one identity, you stand side by side as two complete people choosing to share a life together. Communicating directly but kindly is a skill that instantly earns respect because it removes confusion while keeping the connection intact. It's the ability to say what you mean without being harsh, manipulative, or passive-aggressive. Men appreciate this because it allows them to understand where you stand without having to guess or decode hidden messages. Instead of dropping hints or hoping they'll read your mind, you're willing to express your needs, desires, and concerns openly. That level of clarity builds trust because it shows you value honesty over playing games. Direct communication doesn't mean being blunt in a way that cuts someone down. It's about pairing truth with empathy, choosing words that convey your message clearly while also showing that you care about how it lands. For example, instead of saying, "You never make time for me," you might say, "I really enjoy our time together and I'd love for us to have more of it." The message is still clear, but it invites connection instead of defensiveness. This approach creates space for solutions rather than arguments, which makes a man far more likely to respond positively. Being direct also helps prevent misunderstandings from festering into resentment. When you let things go unsaid in hopes they'll resolve themselves, they often don't. They grow into silent grudges. By addressing issues as they come up, you maintain a clean emotional slate in the relationship. Men notice when you're willing to have these conversations instead of letting tension build, and they respect it because it takes courage and self-control to speak up without attacking. Kindness is the key element that ensures direct communication strengthens the bond instead of straining it. Even when the topic is difficult, choosing a tone that's respectful and calm signals that you're on the same team. This tone allows the other person to hear you without feeling the need to defend themselves immediately. Over time, this sets a standard for how disagreements and needs are handled in the relationship, which makes it feel safe for both people to be open. When you communicate this way consistently, you create an environment where honesty feels natural and rewarding. A man doesn't have to wonder what you really think or where you really stand, because you've shown that you'll share it openly. At the same time, he feels valued because your words are delivered with care. That combination of clarity and warmth is rare, and it leaves a lasting impression. Not over-investing too soon is one of the most powerful ways to create balance and respect in a relationship. It means matching the other person's level of effort instead of pouring all your time, energy, and emotional resources into something that's still in its early stages. When a woman gives too much too quickly, whether it's constant availability, emotional labor, or prioritizing him above her own needs, it can unintentionally signal that she values the connection more than she values herself. Men notice this, and while they may appreciate the attention at first, it often reduces the sense of challenge and mutual effort that keeps a relationship healthy. In the early phases, relationships should feel reciprocal. If he's making an effort to reach out, plan time together, and show interest, then meeting him at that level creates a natural rhythm. But if you're initiating most of the conversations, rearranging your schedule constantly, or investing deeply before you've seen consistent effort from his side, the balance tips. Men respect women who pace themselves emotionally because it shows they're not rushing to secure something. They're allowing it to unfold naturally. This communicates confidence, patience, and discernment. Over-investing too soon also creates a dynamic where your happiness becomes tied to his attention. That dependency can lead to anxiety when he pulls back or needs space, and it can make you tolerate less than ideal behavior just to keep things going. When you match effort instead, you remain grounded in your own life. You can enjoy the connection without making it the center of your world before it's proven to be worth that space. This approach gives the relationship room to grow at a pace where both people feel equally committed. Men also tend to step up more when they see that your investment matches theirs. If you're not overextending yourself, it creates a subtle but powerful invitation for them to do more. When they put in that effort and you respond in kind, it reinforces a healthy cycle of mutual respect and appreciation. On the other hand, when everything is handed to them without them having to work for it, they can take it for granted. Pacing your investment doesn't mean playing hard to get or withholding affection. It's about protecting your emotional energy and ensuring you're building something solid. It's letting the other person earn deeper access to your time and heart by showing up consistently over time, which keeps the connection both balanced and valued. Walking away when your standards aren't met is one of the clearest demonstrations of self-worth, and it leaves a lasting impression. It's not about punishing someone or trying to make them chase you. It's about recognizing when a situation consistently falls short of what you need and having the courage to choose your peace over temporary comfort. Men deeply respect women who are willing to make that choice because it shows that their value isn't up for negotiation. When you hold firm to your standards, you're making it clear that you won't compromise on the essentials: respect, honesty, effort, consistency, just to keep someone around. This doesn't mean expecting perfection, but it does mean expecting alignment in the things that matter most. If you've expressed your needs clearly and given the relationship a fair chance to improve, yet nothing changes, walking away is an act of self-protection. It tells the other person and yourself that you won't settle for a connection that drains you more than it fulfills you. The ability to walk away also changes the energy of how you're perceived. It shows that you're not afraid of being alone, that you're not clinging to the relationship as a source of validation. That independence is magnetic because it shifts the dynamic. You're with someone because you want to be, not because you have to be. Men notice this difference. They know that if they want to keep you in their life, they need to meet the standard you live by, because you've already shown you're willing to leave when it's not met. This decision-making power comes from knowing your worth before the relationship begins. If you rely on the connection to define your value, walking away feels impossible. But when you already see yourself as whole, you can step back from situations that don't honor you without losing your sense of self. That strength not only earns respect, but also prevents you from wasting years in relationships that will never meet your needs. Walking away doesn't erase the affection or history you shared. It simply acknowledges that love without respect, effort, and alignment isn't enough. It's a commitment to yourself that you will only invest deeply in places where you're valued. And when a man sees that you live by that principle, he understands that keeping you in his life means showing up fully, because your presence is something he must continually earn. At the heart of it all, respect isn't something you demand, it's something you teach others through the way you live, love, and lead yourself. When you hold yourself to a standard of self-respect, manage your emotions with grace, maintain your own vibrant life, speak your truth with kindness, invest in balance, and walk away when those standards aren't met, you send a powerful message. Your worth is not up for negotiation. These aren't just rules for earning a man's respect. They're principles for building a relationship where both people bring their best because they know they're standing beside someone who will never settle for less. That kind of presence doesn't just attract respect, it sustains it.